This video is for absolute beginners as well as professionals. So if you're a professional, you can maybe skip the first few chapters of the video, but if you're a beginner, consider watching the whole video. With that said, let's get started. Let me make this clear. This video isn't about shortcuts. If you want to succeed, you'll need to be good at what you do. Now, you don't need to be Picasso or know every single detail of editing. Most editors don't, but you need to be good at whatever style that you want to pursue. Let's say you want to edit podcasts for a big YouTuber. So you'll need to be good at, first of all, highlights, the introductory part, the flashy part. Then you'll need to be good at multicam editing, fairly good at motion graphics for the simple card animations and stuff. Then you'll need to be good at audio processing, fairly good, and subtitles. 5 things that you see in every single podcast. You need to be good at those. Now, similarly, if you want to edit short form content or any different kind of content, you need to be specifically good in that niche. Now, obviously, all of this stuff can't be done on a smartphone, so you need to know all the PC softwares that you can do this on, like Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve for editing. Maybe if you're into color grading, you can go with DaVinci Resolve. Then After Effects for motion graphics, Photoshop for image assets. All of these softwares, at least some knowledge of them and most knowledge of the editing software is necessary if you want to get started. Basically, you need to be a jack of all trades if you know the full code in any creative profession. If you feel you're not quite there yet, give yourself some time to upskill. You can learn from all kinds of free resources like YouTube and everything. That's how I got started. And if you prefer paid courses, you can go ahead with websites like Udemy, Skillshare, and you can also go ahead with cohorts like AVTV, which not only teach you stuff, but they also help you with placements. Now, obviously, none of this is sponsored. I personally have used all of this stuff like Udemy. Of course, I've learned on YouTube, Skillshare, and AVTV. Everything I've gone through, so I know all of this. That's why I'm suggesting it. Of course, editing isn't something that you can just magically learn within 2 or 3 months. It takes time, but in 2 or 3 months, you can at least get your base strong, right? And then build up upon that in the few coming years. And that's how most of the video editors get on with their journey. Of course, there's a lot of practice that goes in, so keep that in mind. Once you know your craft, it's time to showcase it to the world. Your portfolio is your proof of work. It's show not tell. It's showing the recruiter that you can do all of this lovely stuff and not just telling them. And for creative roles like video editing, a portfolio is often more important than a resume. So how do you create a portfolio? First important thing to note is that please avoid PDF files with links to your videos because no one's gonna read that. They simply lack professionalism. Think about it. There's thousands of people who are applying for the same job, and a few of them are of course going to stand out because they have not submitted a PDF which no one's going to read. So what do? Instead, you can use free website builders like Wix, Framer, or Cart and get started on that. You can get a free domain and you can create your portfolio on that. Show your videos as thumbnails and then it will become more attractive. Most of my video editor friends do have their portfolios on these similar websites. You can of course find plenty of tutorials on YouTube to get started with these websites, and I'll also link a few in the description for you to get started. Many people think they need to create flashy resumes to impress HR, but that's not the case. Stefanie Fackrell, a HR consultant who's reviewed thousands of resumes for companies like Google, Nvidia, and Apple, advised job seekers to keep their resumes boring. No charts, no colors, no graphs, and no pictures. She said that by creating colorful resumes, you're just being a little gimmicky. So, here's the takeaway. Keep it simple. Now, let me save you folks a whole lot of time. Check out this video by a YouTuber who landed jobs at Google, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft, and he shared his own resume template, which you can just replace your data with and your resume will be ready. The link to the video is in the description. Also, just to see if it works or not, I used this exact resume, filled in my data, and applied for my previous 2 jobs, and I landed both of them. So yeah, it works. Having a LinkedIn presence is essential in today's market. Why? Because recruiters ask for your LinkedIn profile while you're applying for the job, and most of them are also searching for potential candidates on that application. So make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Upload your latest resume, your education, your certifications, your achievements, your projects, include a link to your portfolio, and if possible, get your profile verified. All of this works. In addition to all of this, having a strong social media presence like a polished Instagram page or a YouTube page can significantly increase your appeal. It basically shows that you're familiar with how social media operates and will make you a much more appealing candidate. And while this option is optional, it can certainly give you an edge. Now, while having a LinkedIn profile is great, I personally don't think that it is the best platform to search for jobs solely because of the fact that it is heavily crowded. Every single person is spamming the easy apply button, but that wasn't gonna do me any good. So what I instead did was I searched for jobs on LinkedIn, I set alerts for jobs. Then once I got an alert, I went to the company's website and I went to the career section and applied from there. Then I searched for the profile of the company's HR on LinkedIn. Generally, HRs put out a post that they are hiring for this particular role. What I did was I commented under that post all my details that were necessary and made a direct connection. And once all of this was done, I applied for the post on LinkedIn itself and all other platforms where the company had put out a hiring post. Websites like Naukri.com, Wellfound.com and all other websites where companies generally tend to post the same role so that they can get all kinds of audiences. If you make your profile and your portfolio truly appealing, and if you apply from everywhere, you significantly increase the chances of catching the HR's eye and the chances of getting that precious call that you've been shortlisted for this role. Most interviews will begin with an assignment. Of course, the companies will check if you can actually pull off all the stuff that you have mentioned and shown in the resume and the portfolio. Which if you do, and if they like your assignment, you'll go ahead to the actual interviews. The amount of interviews vary from company to company. There are generally 2 or 3 interviews after the assignment, but that depends on what company you are applying for. Now, if you are a beginner or an absolute fresher who has no prior experience in video editing jobs, then you can expect a salary of around 20,000 to 35,000, which is common across recruiters in India. And for experienced professionals, if you're a pro who's switching from one job to another, then it's reasonable to ask for a 30 to 40% raise. But then again, your worth is not something that I can guess. It totally depends on what skills you have and what value you bring to the table. So assess your abilities and the market conditions and then negotiate with the recruiter. So these were the few tips that I wanted to share with you folks. I certainly hope you find at least a few of these useful. And if you do, consider subscribing to the channel if you like such kind of content. That's it from my end. My name is Amiyan Sawant. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.